Yo, what is good, everybody? Welcome into the Free Money Show here, recapping week one of college football. It is here and it starts tonight, kicks off on Wednesday. We got a lot of plays here for week one. So let's get into it here with UAB and Jacksonville State. Wednesday night, the Montgomery kickoff. We're rolling with Jacksonville State plus 15. I think it's at 16 and a half right now. So for the sake of it, we will go plus 16 and a half. Jacksonville State had a great 2020 season, winning the Ohio Valley Conference and losing to Delaware in the FCS playoffs in the quarterfinals. Their coach, John Grass, is a pretty good coach for FCS. He's had a winning season or a 500 season in all 6 of his seasons at Jacksonville State, and I think they get off to a competitive start here on Wednesday. Not sure if they win, that is a lot of points, but a decent number for us to cover here. He can recruit. He's brought in a couple four stars from Alabama and 2 from Tennessee, and then a couple more sprinkled in from Washington State, Illinois, some more Power 5 schools. Not the big dogs, but definitely some more Power 5s. Last season, they lost to FSU 41-24, so not too bad. 17-point loss there, so pretty close to our 16 and a half points tonight on Wednesday. They beat FIU last season, so they did go 1-1 versus Division I schools, so they can compete, no doubt about that. But this pick is based a lot on the Jacksonville State quarterback, Zarek Cooper, former 4-star quarterback, committed to Clemson. Obviously, he got beat out by Trevor Lawrence, but he's now in Jacksonville State and was named to Phil Steele, pretty prominent college football writer, the second team All-American for the FCS. Here's the big deal, and Zarek Cooper definitely put up numbers. 66.7 completion percentage in the seasons prior. In 2019, 28 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. In 2018, 32 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. Last season, he played a couple games, then had a season-ending injury, so was not able to complete the whole season. But he is back, and they are playing at home tonight, which is another big factor that I like for them. Last season, he had a QB rating of 153, 7 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Oh, actually, no, I'm a knucklehead. That was for UAB. Tyler Johnston, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, QB rating of 153. Their passing ranks weren't too high, but their bread and butter is the rushing for UAB. 4.9 yards per rush, 32nd best in the country, and averaged 195.9 yards per game, which is a tad above that at 34th best in the country. Jacksonville State just has to commit to stopping the run, and they should be okay. Definitely stay within that 16 and a half. The hook's going to be important, I got a feeling, tonight. So got to watch for that, and hopefully at halftime we'd only be down by about 7 or tied would be a massive W. So love that. And Jacksonville State can stop the run. It was against a lot of FCS schools, no doubt, but they only allowed 92.3 yards per game last season. So if they can commit to stopping the run, the pass defense should be okay for the rest of it. So Jacksonville State plus 16 and a half taking on UAB. Okay, and our first play for Thursday is going to be Boise State and UCF over 68.5 points here on Thursday. Boise State allowed an average of 26.25 points per game last season on the road, and that was against really bad Mountain West teams. There weren't many good Mountain West teams besides BYU, so great for our over here. Their defense isn't too great. Boise State themselves averaged 33.9 points, 25th best in the country last season, behind the arm of their QB, Hank Backmeyer. So look for him to have a great game. He can sling it, no doubt about that. And their weakness last year was running the ball, but that was addressed by the transfer of former Oregon running back, I hope I'm saying his name correctly, Cyrus Habib Lokio. In 2020, he had 19 attempts and 4 touchdowns, excuse me. So a shade under 5 attempts per touchdown, which is exactly what we want to see here on Thursday for this total. He is a big part of Habibi is he is familiar with Andy Avalos, the head coach of Boise State. He is in his first season after coming over from Oregon, and it is his alma mater. He is pretty prideful, so I think he will take it seriously and coach up the offense here. New head coach Andy Avalos is going to struggle against Dylan Gabriel. I'm not sure anyone can really game plan for him in his first game. Last season, the kid went crazy. 32 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Look for him to light up the scoreboard here today. And 4 new wide receivers come in, all highly recruited, 4 or 5 stars. So he will hit them early and often. And not only has the wide receiver room been addressed, the running back room has been addressed as well. Mark Anthony Richards, former 4-star running back, coming in from Auburn, didn't get too much playing time, but he is in now at UCF and will help out an offense that can now run and pass, which can be even more lethal than it was last season when they averaged uh, 33.2 points allowed, and then their overs were 5-5 last season, but they did start the year 4-1 to this total, and 42 points scored were averaged for UCF last season. So they were the 7th highest scoring offense in the country. Look for them to get Dylan Gabriel the ball early and let him either run or pass because he can do both, having 2 rushing touchdowns sprinkled in from last season. So I think that is the play here. They averaged 37 points at home last season, and with Boise State allowing close to that number, about 26.3 points allowed, and then they themselves scoring 33. I think the over is the play here. It is a lot of points, no doubt. There is some trepidation. I get that high of a total, but over 68.5 points is the play here on Thursday for Boise State and UCF. Okay, then we got 2 more plays here, but the third, Ohio State and Minnesota over 63. Now, anyone that watches college football knows how good Ohio State is, and they will put points on the board. They produce NFL talent all the time. They averaged 41 points per game last season, but no more Justin Fields, and enters in Chase Stroud, the redshirt quarterback, looking to take the team as his own, and he gets a start against Minnesota. Decent defense. Last season they struggled. They couldn't tackle, couldn't catch a cold, couldn't catch a DB or a wide receiver, anybody. So if that continues today, the over may be in jeopardy because Minnesota won't really try after that. But I think they keep the game close. The side was a little hard to pick here, so I decided to go with the points total here of the over 63.5. Now, they lose Fields, but they keep their 3 biggest kind of weapons on offense. Master Teague, 8 touchdowns running the ball last season. And the 2 wide receivers, Wilson and Olave. Olave can ball. The kid was so good last year. Great option for Stroud to help out tonight especially. So look for him to be targeted early and often. And if we can get about 90% of the points from Ohio State last year, we'll be sitting at 36.9. And Ohio State, their defense, allowed 25.8 points per game last year. So if we can get those 2 averages, the over will hit, and we can cash the ticket of over 63. Now for the Gophers, Tanner Morgan, a decent quarterback, doesn't turn the ball over too much. Nothing flashy, will get the job done, but our point total relies here on Mohamed Ibrahim. In my mind, the best running back in the Big Ten. In the game in 2018, Ibrahim pretty much did all the scoring, had 2 touchdowns and 160 yards. So Tanner Morgan can help him get down the field, throw the ball, complete passes, don't turn it over. The Gophers can most definitely put some points on the board, and we can hit the over 63 points here on Thursday. Lastly, pick number 4, NC State minus 18. This is a little bit of a goofball reasoning here, but this is a uniform game for NC State. Look good, feel good, play good, and shout out Dion. But now you're saying, why would you kind of take this if you even said it's a goofball? Some of these kids just need that extra motivation sometimes to get fired up, get ready to play. First game of the season should be enough, but these kids do care about uniforms. That's why a lot of recruits choose that. They love wearing the gear, Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, all that. So this jersey honors the World War I memorial that is located on campus. So the fans will be fired up, the players will be fired up, And luckily for them, they're playing a really bad opponent. USF had a bad 2020. Went 1-8 in the first season for new head coach Jeff Scott. He can recruit from his time at Clemson. I'm not so sure he'll be able to do that at USF. Last season, they averaged 22.6 points per game, 103rd best in the country for college football, and they allowed 44 points, which is 125th worst. So almost half all the college football teams are allowing a 180. That's pretty bad. So with those averages sit, we can cover that number. So NC State had a good at 2020, had one of the best seasons in recent memory for them, and their QBs are good. Devin Leary, if he struggles, Ben Finley is waiting in the wings to take over, the brother of former NC State quarterback Ryan Finley, and he can ball. He was highly recruited and chose NC State for his brother and that kind of familiarity with the coach. So look for NC State to put up numbers here. Minus 18 is a good football number. Sits right under 3 touchdowns and can kind of help out with that field goal if we do kind of want to make sure that we are evened out and don't lose. But we can get some money back there. So NC State minus 18 is the play. So we got 4 picks here. One on Wednesday. Jacksonville State kicking it off. Plus 16.5 points. Taking on the great UAB from down there. And pick number 2. Boise State and UCF over 68. That point total may be a little high, but no worries. Both these offenses can put points on the board. They are efficient. And the defenses aren't too great. They do allow a lot. Boise State and UCF both. So love that number of 68.5. Pick number 3. Ohio State and Minnesota over 63 points on Thursday, kicking off the Big Ten season right after the Illinois and Nebraska game. And then pick number 4, NC State minus 18, the uniform game. Gonna ball out in those and the All Blacks, looking like some stormtroopers out there, the nice and fancy ones. But 4 plays. I'm gonna try to balance it out, do a lot more games on Saturday as opposed to some of the Friday games, so we can kind of get a break and make sure we are doing the best picks for you guys. Follow me here at The Free Money Show. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if anything can be changed or fixed. Kind of the first time doing these in week 1. And then every day you can find me at Spotify, Free Money Podcast, giving out daily winners. Thank you. See y'all tomorrow.